could say them are fighting words. And joining us now is our political analyst, New York Post state editor, Fred Dicker. And Fred, this is a fight among party members and a fight with a still popular governor. So the Mayor Minor, if nothing else, is courageous and bold.
Well, this hasn't been a great week for the governor, but I wanted to thank you, Liz, for leaving out of this thing the most remarkable piece of it and leaving it to me. Stephanie Minor, the mayor of Syracuse, is Governor Cuomo's hand-picked co-chair of the state Democratic Party. And the idea that the co-chair of the Democratic Party is attacking the governor in the New York Times really is unlike anything we've seen before. It's an extraordinary development. It's embarrassing to the governor, very risky for Mayor Minor in Syracuse, very bold perhaps too, as you suggested. In fact, what she's talking about is something that a lot of upstate mayors are talking about. Jerry Jennings in Albany, he's one of many who have been talking about the fact, from their point of view, that the state hasn't done enough to help them with their enormous fiscal problems. Mayor Minor in Syracuse is saying Syracuse may be 2.5 years away, only 2.5 years away from bankruptcy. On my show today, one of the governor's top aides, Howard Glazer, the director of state operations, really kind of threw it back at Stephanie Minor and said it's up to these mayors to manage their money. But she does make a very good point when she says it's been years of state mandates along with mismanagement by the local officials that are to blame for all of this.
Yeah, because on the one hand, I mean, as I was reading in the New York Times, the governor perceives this as, you know, asking for some money, asking for a handout, but these mayors say, hey, all you're doing is putting things on us to do without giving us any money to do them.
Well, that's true. Let me note that this plan for pensions that the governor has proposed is an optional plan. The city of Syracuse or the city of Albany does not have to participate. They do not have to participate.
But this is in lieu of their getting money, isn't it?
Not necessarily. They're not getting as much money as they'd like to get.
Yeah.
It's considered to be a mandate relief for them if they choose to use it. Now, there are some mayors out there who say this is a good thing. And the State Conference of Mayors apparently have endorsed the governor's plan, although the state controller, who's responsible for the pension system, has not yet. So it remains to be seen what happens here. But the bottom line, I think, the point that Stephanie Minor makes, which is a bottom line, is that there have been enormous mandates over the years from the state on localities, and the state really is not doing all that much now to help them. But they have done some things. The governor's argument, though, is that the mayors, the local officials, need to take on the unions, need to take on more spending than they can afford and make the tough decisions themselves. Now, I think there's merit on both sides of this.
Yeah, that sounds that way. All right, thank you, Fred. And we'll see if the argument continues or whether they find a way to reach some kind of accommodation, especially, as you say, because of their relationship. How would you like to be in a room with the two of them alone?
I would like to be there. I'd take notes.
I bet you would. All right, don't forget, you can hear Fred's radio program live from the state capitol every weekday morning, 10 to 11 on Talk 1300 AM.